So we're back online. How many players for modern tournament? Modern tournament yesterday 160 players. Today for the legacy 200 player. We have a standing at after round 7. Maurer Lucas and Leonardo Zucchelli at 19 points, as we predicted, already in the top 8. Pascal Wagner with Ant already in the top 8. Alonso Zarzoso 18. Dominic Ersmandorfer 18. Jean-Marie Cart 18. Andrea Ghesini 18. Evan Aguzzi 18. And Salvador Guillem 16. Maybe now what's gonna happen that Maurer Lucas, Zucchelli, Leonardo, Pascal Wagner are already in the top 8, and probably Alonso Zarzoso and Dominic Ersmandorfer will draw the top 8, and instead
everyone else has to play.
Everyone
because
else
there's
has
so
to play.
many people on 16 points. There's
Yeah.
so many people on 5-1 and 1.
Yeah. So now what's the match is gonna no Legacy 200, Modern 160. Now the match we're gonna comment and is gonna be Andrea Ghesini with Grixis and Evan Aguzzi with Where You Are, Delver. It's a pretty much close matchup in which obviously you are Delver have aggro and not so much control deck, and the Grixis is quite a deck that can do pretty everything with Pyromancer and Tazigor and Liliana. It's got many cards. And anyways, on the left side, with the white shirt, you can see Ghesini with Grixis. And yeah, we congrats to Marco Camilluzzi, top 8 at Pro Tour Brussels. And very good, well done for Marco. And instead, on the right side, Ivan Aguzzi with
I'm not sure that
Delver.
that the player are correctly
Okay,
positioned.
we'll see. Anyways, for you, is not don't changes a lot.
What? 15.
So let's see the starting ends. Aguzzi will start with a Delver deck, and Ghesini will go second. He's got a hand full of counter spells and force wheels. And anyways, Aguzzi will probably start with land Delver, but is the start at that deck. It's gonna obviously prefer. And obviously it goes Volcanic, Delver Secrets. Or he's gonna choose another strategy. Yeah, Volcanic, Delver Secrets, as we easily predicted. And now Ghesini with the Grixis deck.
The question is, who is the beatdown in this matchup? Or does it depend on whatever hands they actually have to play with? Or do you think like Delver is the aggro deck and Grixis is the the control deck?
Yeah, now yes, I think in this matchup is correct.
I think that also seeing the end of Ivan is definitely is Viagra deck. Because he got the the Wisp Spear, he's got the Delver already in play, so he's gonna play the role of the aggro, and Gazzini is gonna try to stop the first aggression from Ivan to play something. Now he's gonna play another probe with the same hand to recover another card. And probably here he'll have to counter the Monastery's Fist Spear, because otherwise it's gonna be tough. Yeah, as you predicted. He countered the obviously, because that deck with that card into play can be very strong to face. David, can you tell us something about the list of Grixis? Some particular choices?
Well, this Grixis deck looks like quite straightforward to me. There's a few cards like you don't see like so often, like main deck Terminate, main deck Pyroblast,
Main deck Innocent Blood.
main deck Innocent Blood. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Like a singleton counterspell, 4 Brainstorm, 4 Ponder, Gitaxian Probe, full set of Cabal Therapies, Bolts, Young Pyromancer, 3 copies of Dig Through Time, singleton Tazigor. He also has 2 Liliana of the Veil, and 1 Chain Smite Sculptor. I mean, it's clearly like a mid-rangey, well, for whatever Legacy mid-range could be. Like, he can play both roles. Like, he can play the aggro matchup. Like, he can be the aggro deck. He can also be the control deck, like in this matchup.
Yeah. And obviously, in this matchup, you have to play the role of the control deck, because as you see, he's already at. Now he's gonna drop to 14 after the attack of the Delver, and he's facing an aggression by the deck of Aguzzi. And Aguzzi's deck is a quite classic list, all 4 pair or everything, 4 Pyromancer, 4 Delvers, 4 Dig, 4 Monasteries, 5 Spear, 4 Ponder, 4 Lightning Bolt. This deck has obviously lost a lot of the ban of Treasure Cruise, but anyways, it's still a deck that can tell something to this meta game.
So he basically pretty much the same deck with Dig Through Time instead of Treasure Cruise.
Yeah, obviously not the same card, not the same power, but
I've seen decks like this playing cards like
yeah,
Price of Progress. It doesn't seem like he's playing any, either in main deck or in the sideboard.
no.
He has no Price of Progress in the sideboard either.
He plays 1 Sulfuric Vortex in the sideboard, plays 2 Smash to Smithereens. It's quite a classic list. He don't concede nothing to improvisation, and I think that Price of Progress stuff against some matchups is very, very, very strong, and maybe I don't know. Maybe it's a choice in which he prefer to have turn 2 creature and try to do damages and bring the opponent.
And that's why some deck lists with Price of Progress and also Fireblast, they're like very aggressive deck lists,
Yeah.
like to actually try to end the game on turn 3 or 4.
Now the Grixis decks obviously does Cabal Therapy and obviously names Lightning Bolt because it's the card that Aguzzi revealed with Delver. So he knew that Aguzzi had the Lightning Bolt in hand, and so he discards it. And now he's gonna Aguzzi is gonna set his race with a Delver, and now we probably add to that the Young Pyromancer. Black Pyromancer is a pretty good card.
This is not top 8 round. This is the last round of Swiss.
This
So
is
it's a win and in for these two players.
yeah. This is the 8th round of Swiss, last round. So who wins this game is gonna get in the top 8 between these two players.
So I've got a question for you now. Aguzzi has a forked bolt in hand, right?
Yeah.
So would it make sense just to play Pyromancer, fetch, and fork bolt you, put you down to 8, and have an extra attacker on the next turn?
Yeah, but
I mean, he would make an extra token.
yeah, obviously. No, but I think he'll do it.
He hasn't done it. He played the Young Pyromancer without cracking the fetch and without playing any other spell.
I think he'll do it. at the
It
end
does
of
it does have a fork bolt in hand, right?
I think so. Innocent
Like now
Bala-
for example, if he fork bolt, he would have had just
yeah.
a token to
Well,
sacrifice.
he
He does have a fork bolt in hand.
Yeah. So now, this is his choice, but I don't agree by Aguzzi. I mean, you set it up the matchup. You set it up the game as an aggro deck. I mean, you have to try to put down Gesini before he can recover.
Yeah, exactly. It does have a fork bolt. I mean, the whole point being, if he
You don't
fork
have a
bolt,
big
he
guy.
would have been. Yeah, exactly. You don't really have any reach. Like if he takes off, if he takes your Delver off the board, you don't really have a reach.
You don't have a B plan. You don't have a mid range. You don't have a mid game with that deck. You have to win in turn 4, turn 5 max.
That would have just made so much more damage. I mean, disregard the fact that he actually played Innocent Blood. If he just do like a lightning bolt, he would have had an extra 1/1 to beat down with.
Obviously. Now he's facing another Cabal Therapy on his, and he gives away the forked bolt.
Also, by not playing Fork Bolt, he has faced the therapy and now is not even able to play the Fork Bolt anyway.
Now is strong.
In fact, that
Yeah,
is a
it's
counter
strong,
spell.
it's a counter spell.
So, can Gazzini actually come back from now?
He can play your days now. I would definitely play your days now. They call the judge.
They actually called the judge. I think Aguzzi.
A card 6-1, sì. Okay, and
Basically, when Gazzini counterspelled the Ponder, Aguzzi took the Ponder and went to the graveyard, and then he just realized he had days.
yeah.
So he's
So
basically just trying to play the days after putting the Ponder in the
Yeah.
graveyard.
So he's considering to play the days and play the ponder, but Gazzini says he put it away the ponder. It resolved the counterspell resolved. So now he cannot say I play the days. Now they are arguing about the fact that the spell resolved and he put away the ponder. So classical situation in which two different versions of the situation. So now the thing is that that's if that ponder resolves, there's a possibility. Okay. The judge have decided to not let Aguzzi turn back in time, as they say, and so he cannot play the ponder. But now the problem is that he had a days in hand, and so Gazzini cannot play the Jace because otherwise he will face the Jace, the days. So now he's got a Pyromancer, and the problem is that if Aguzzi will draw
Any action.
any action will be. He find the 5 land, so he can play the Jace.
Yeah, and it's also not a fetch land. It is just a land.
Yeah.
So you can bounce the Delver. Now, just to make sure that Gazzini doesn't draw into any counterspell, I mean,
Yeah,
Gazzini
now
is definitely a long way to win this game.
Yeah, but it must only. He can draw. I mean, if he can.
Also,
if he's able to draw.
let's try and see what Gazzini is drawing.
If he's able to draw a bolt or a sort of. He drew
another Pyromancer, so probably now he's gonna bounce again.
Yeah, Gazzini is drawing.
He's drawing into more lands.
He's drawing ugly, huh?
What?
Gazzini is not drawing.
Now Gazzini probably has to take the risk and go for Brainstorm, and
obviously.
trying to find a solution to the Delver, which he
Yeah.
does in form of Lightning Bolt. This is actually a pretty good draw. He also has Talzigor to
He also has
play.
Cabal Therapy to flashback. He's got Tazigor to play.
So he can
He's
play
got-
he
he's
can
got-
play Talzigor, and then just bolt the Delver in case.
And he's got Cabal Therapy.
And he's basically building up an army that doesn't really give Aguzzi too much time to draw.
He's got much. He's got this error with a ponder could cost Aguzzi the game. But the problem is that now he's gonna get the board, and now 2 tokens of Pyromancer come in, and now he can use the therapy. And so now the error with done by Aguzzi, not dazing that counterspell and letting resolve a ponder, it cost him the game, because now is he had to concede to.
Yeah, that was definitely a really good comeback from Gazzini. I mean, he was back on the wall, down to 1 life. I think he also got lucky drawing just any land that wasn't a fetchland as a 5th mana source, just to play his Jace, not incurring into a daze. But at that moment in time, I think Aguzzi, had he played the Fork Bolt in any time, he would have definitely won the game. I mean, he could have just played Pyromancer and Fork Bolt in order to make a 1/1. That would have definitely won him the game.
Definitely.
Even the following turn, he could still Fork Bolt, and that would have won him the game. He just kept his Fork Bolt in hand for no apparent reason. Gazzini was able to actually Cabal Therapy, which normally Cabal Therapy against a deck like Blue-Red Delver is probably not the best card you want to draw. Because Blue-Red Delver, I mean, besides Dig Through Times, it doesn't really have like a big way to refill his hand anyway. Is definitely like kind of a sleek mono-red deck with some blue inside. So Cabal Therapy definitely not the best card. But because of the gameplay by Aguzzi, I mean, Gazzini could actually play Cabal Therapy in a proficient way.
Yeah.
That normally wouldn't have happened. So we could actually say that if Aguzzi played that Fork Bolt any time in this game, he would have definitely won it.
And still, with the error of a forked bolt, he could win the game by simply dazing the counterspell on his ponder, and maybe that ponder could give him the lightning bolt of the victory or whatever, or a forget bolt or one of the 2000 shoots he have in the deck. So maybe now with sideboards, I think that Aguzzi will put in obviously with the Elemental Blast. He'll put it. I think he'll put in the. I think it's Spell Pierce, but I don't know. And the Sulfuric Vortex.
Well, Gazzini is one game up. He has access to cards like Flusterstorm, Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blast, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and he's got one Human Zawa Jitta as well. So he might have like access to 4 sideboard card, but he does have a few cards in main deck that are not particularly strong against the blue-red Delver. Cards like Cabal Therapy, probably not the best. Cards like Liliana on the draw, probably not the best card against blue-red Delver.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got plenty of cards that are not efficient against a deck like that. For example, also Dig Through Time is quite slow for a turn 3, turn 4 deck. Yeah. On the Juventus losing against Parma, probably they sold the match. Anyways, now Aguzzi, he knows that he threw away the game before. He's quite pissed off because apart from the judge called for the situation we told you, he knew that he played bad with Forked Bolt around that Forked Bolt. I don't know how he's waiting for that Forked Bolt to take off. Maybe a Pyromancer.
I mean,
maybe, I don't know.
if I realize that I'm the beatdown in a matchup, I normally play it as aggressive as I can. And
Yeah, because he don't have a B plan.
exactly, he didn't have a backup. He didn't have a B plan. He could have just dropped the young Pyromancer and then just bolt into his face.
Yeah.
That would have put him down not only for the 2 lives before he could actually find an answer, like making sure that you actually deal that 2 damage rather than keeping it for like Gazzini's own Pyromancer, which never actually showed up until the end. Also, he would have made an extra 1/1, which would have saved the Pyromancer from an innocent blood.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm not. Aguzzi is probably thinking now. I didn't play that days perfectly, but he should actually realize that he misplayed a few turns earlier on that 4th bolt.
So now the ends with Aguzzi drawing a land full of ponders and so on, and Grixis with land delver classical start. Grixis with a bolt with 2 snapcasters. He's got a consistent hand. He knows that he can face a delver with a bolt. Now he draws a Cabal Therapy. Probe from Gazzini. He finds a Force Wheel, a Brainstorm, a Bolt, a Forked Bolt, a Dig Through Time, and another card, probably a Spell Pierce. Yeah, Spell Pierce, definitely. And this kind of hand, with no lands practically, he's got the Brainstorm to find the second land, but he's got only the Delver of Secrets as a pressure. If he loses the Delver here, it's gonna be a problem. If he loses the Delver here, since Gazzini knows the end of Aguzzi, he have to bolt the Delver because if Aguzzi loses that Delver, he doesn't have pressure. He probably wanna be a very hard delay. Instead, Gazzini probably wanna do the Cabal Therapy before Aguzzi can brainstorm out his cards. So he wanna do the cabal therapy now. Now that he precisely knows the end of Aguzzi. So he does a cabal therapy, and probably, and now
I think the
Aguzzi, he
reason-
have to force
I think the reason Gazzini is fetching for Underground Sea
brains.
is because it doesn't have a second land, and he's got a Liliana in his hand. So he's actually playing the long game.
He obviously takes away your brainstorm.
Yeah, he's actually playing the long game. I'm not sure. I think like if your opponent only has a Delver as the only form of pressure, like you do bolt the Delver.
Yeah, I think I'd bolted that.
I would have bolted the Delver. I mean, we can actually now we do have perfect information on everything, right? So having a Liliana and 2 Cabal therapies, he actually decided to fetch for Underground Sea, getting rid of Brainstorm, just taking away some gas off Aguzzi's hand. While he could have just bolted the Delver and obviously put him in like in the driver's seat. Even though like he only had like a Lonely Ponder, which would have met with a Spell Pierce the following turn.
Yeah. I thought that if I can.
Like now basically he's actually committed to draw a red source.
Yeah.
And his second therapy will actually have to go on Spell Pierce.
Yeah. The thing is that Gazzini chose to give away a brainstorm of Aguzzi, leaving him with only one island and no manipulation to find the second land. And it was quite a plan, because if Gazzini doesn't draw, something like, he could be totally locked. Instead, he drew a Deduction Probe, and now he drew a brainstorm that can do it in the end.
The problem with Gazzini now is that if it
Now
actually
Cabal Therapy.
now he has to Cabal Therapy and he has to call like a weak card like Spell Pierce, right? Just to be able to fetch for a red mana and bolt the Delver, which he could have just done in the first place the previous round.
Yeah.
The
and
previous
instead
turn.
Aguzzi found the brainstorm, and now he's gonna be giving him other cards.
So he does have access to 2 Force of Wheels, and he also drew a fetch land.
Yeah, perfect brainstorm.
This is
What
an actually
to
really good brainstorm because you can actually
put down one of the
put down one of the Force Wheel or both if he doesn't really care. The problem is like if Gazzini drew a fetch land, like you want to keep both Force of Wheels, Force of Will the Cabal Therapy, and then just Force of Will the eventual bolt as well.
Yeah.
And then on top of your deck, you can leave the fetch land in order to just
Yeah.
have access to Red Elemental Blast to counter Ponder in the next turn.
Okay. So let's answer now to Harley Quinn. The modern event was won by Pascal Wagner with blue-red combo Storm with Pyromancer Ascension. Vito Pate were 2 junk deck. This you were 1 twin, 1 Esper Delve, and if I remember correct, 1 Burn deck, and one deck with Pod,
Podless
Pod. Yeah. Give the might
So-
Podless Pod.
Basically, Gazzini didn't actually draw a second land. So now he's basically committed to draw a red source.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the Delver will just coast to coast.
Yeah. Simply and clear.
I think Gazzini
Even
overlooked at his hand and thought he could have played the long game.
Now Aguzzi you have to counter that Ponder. Absolutely.
He does have to red Elemental Blast that Ponder or Spell Pierce that Ponder.
He's got to grab or counter spell with this Ponder. He's committed to do it because he's gonna grab it, obviously.
The problem is like by playing like that, Gazzini is allowing the blue-red Delver deck to actually play the tempo game, which is exactly what you don't want them to do.
Yeah.
Like if you bolt Delver on turn 1, they have to rebuild again, especially because he knew his hand and he did know that there was no other aggression from Aguzzi's side.
Yeah. Yeah, another problem with Gazzini's strategy, the Gazzini strategy was we stay about one land, and the problem is that Aguzzi saw other cards, other things. Now is getting into a dig through time. So now for Ghesini is very critical to recover.
I mean, Gazzini came back from a really, really bad situation before, when he was at one life and he was pretty much dead on board.
Yeah.
He basically took advantage of a couple of mistakes from Aguzzi, and then just came back to win the first game.
Yeah.
But can he actually come back
No,
from here?
I don't know. Maybe
I mean,
he's got to draw now.
it's got to draw a red source.
source to do a bolt, and then he's got to draw another land to snapcaster into a second bolt for a second menace that Aguzzi will propose. If the problem is that anyways, the problem is that he's got to do it quick because he's at 8 life and he doesn't have much time to recover here. So not an easy situation for Ghesini, and we are seeing the card of the dig through time took by Aguzzi. He's taking, I think, he took a force wheel when he changed the idea. So now he's got a force wheel. He's got a ponder. And he's
He
got
decides not to crack the fetch man,
yeah. And Ghesini.
and
scoops.
Gazzini decides to scoop.
Yeah. Scoop.
So basically, we could actually see that Gazzini pretty much lost the game on turn 1.
Yeah. When he decided to Cabal Therapy instead of bolting the Delver. In a deck that you see that the end of Aguzzi is got the only menace that is that Delver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's only one threat in his hand, only a single threat, and you do have an answer for it, and you just choose
And you have
not to.
bolt, and you have to bolt the Delver and take time. Instead, he's choosing to try to slow down Aguzzi with that Cabal Therapy on the Brainstorm. That could be effective if Aguzzi drew into red cards. But he was optimistic.
I mean, it was just a bit optimistic to hope to draw like a red source when he could have just, just fetch for a red source
Yeah.
and just bolt. Yeah, yesterday there was only one blue-red storm in the whole room, and he actually won the tournament.
Yeah. And we must say that the Blue Red Storm player, Pascal Wagner, is a very good player because today he managed to make still today another top 8 in Legacy tournament with 200 person with another combo deck with an Ant deck, Tendril deck, and this is show that surely for sure Pascal Wagner is a good player, but that in this format in which there are a lot of sword to plowshare, lightning bolts, removals, and so on. Playing a combo deck is not a bad choice. Anyways, we're gonna see.
I'm actually quite surprised that in game 2, Gazzini kept in a few cards that I named to be like not very effective. Like he kept Cabal Therapy and Liliana of the Veil in on the draw upper game. I'm not like a big fan of both cards like in this matchup, because I mean a 3 mana Planeswalker on the draw against a deck with Daze and Spell Pierce, probably not very likely to resolve. Also, Cabal Therapy, it's a decent card,
It's a decent
but Blue-Red Delver has so many different counterspells. I mean, post board, you're facing cards like Daze, you're facing cards like Spell Pierce, Blue Elemental Blast, Pyroblast, Force of Will. I mean, it's actually quite hard to hit something with Cabal Therapy, unless Cabal Therapy comes together with Gitaxian Probe, which it's probably not the best card anyway against a deck like Blue Red Delver. I mean, you're basically just shocking yourself.
For sure, Gitaxian Probe, I probably board it out, and The other thing I didn't absolutely bolt out if I was Gesini was the Liliana. Liliana against that matchup is quite useless.
A good
Unless
see
you start, if you're on the play maybe.
on the play,
on-
it's
on
a
the
decent
draw.
card. But then again, we see Cabal Therapy in the dark against a good see. Like, so what do you name now?
I think where I name Brainstorm or Ponder.
He does have both.
As a bot, let's see what Gesini named.
Well, unless he named Force of Will, he probably hit. Unless he actually named Force of Will.
Yeah, he got Paguzzi's got a pretty good hand. With
Agustin's got a
Pyromancer,
really good hand.
Brain, Pyromancer.
And
with-
obviously, he started off with Delver 3 games on 3.
obviously. Otherwise, he's not on the table. if you don't start every game with a Delver. Okay, now he's gonna sign the cards, and let's see the end of Gesini. He's got 2 bolts, he's got Snapcaster, he's got a Brainstorm, he's got a pretty decent hand, and he's got a quick hand too. Now he's gonna he has to bolt.
Now,
Delver.
the way Aguzzi should play out his Pyromancer is basically trying to play it aggressively and make some tokens quickly. Because obviously, Gazzini's deck can only 1-for-1 with spot removals.
Yeah.
So what Aguzzi wants to do is drop the Monastery Swiftspear and only play the Pyromancer when he can actually play some 1/1s. Because even a few 1/1s can put enough pressure on a deck that only 1s-for-1s things.
Yeah. Here
Like
the
for
board-
example now, like he has the choice of just dropping the Monastery Swiftspear and for example to Ponder, which is probably a much better play than just dropping the 2/1.
Yeah. I don't know why he bolted the Sorcery with Delver.
He probably just didn't want to give him the chance to find the permission.
To find the days or something.
Yeah.
Ponder shuffles for a good see. And now Gazzini, if he finds a third land, he could have a Bolt, Snapcaster, Bolt, so he can have some consistent responses. Monastery goes for 2 damages.
Now this game, Gazzini is actually, he doesn't have mana issues, at least like colored mana issues. So he's actually playing like he should be,
Yeah.
like bolting away every
He top decks a
every
Cabal
threat.
Therapy. He top decks a Cabal Therapy now. Naming young Pyromancer quickly, obviously. Leaving Aguzzi with
A couple of
2
ponders
only
and a brainstorm.
Brainstorm.
So
Now
if he
if-
can actually bolt, if he bolts now, which I would,
He gonna get rid of all the
he
menaces.
gets rid of all the threats, which is exactly how Grixis should play out in the
Yeah,
matchup,
in fact,
and that's
yeah.
exactly how he didn't play in game 2.
Yeah, exactly. He missed game 2 display, and now he played it correct. Now Gazzini Aguzzi's got to search his deck to find some attacker to face.
I mean, Aguzzi's hand has got a decent manipulation because he has 2 ponders. He's got a brainstorm. He's got a red elemental
He's
blast.
got a
So
fun-
he's in a
Yeah,
decent
But
shape.
he's got to find the menace.
But he has to find the threat.
A threat that he can scare and they can put pressure to Gazzini. It keeps with
And-
another
and there it is.
Monastery Swiftspear.
There it is, a Monastery of Swiftspear, which he plays. He actually decides not to fetch. He decides not to fetch into Ponder. Then again, he's basically keeping his red elemental blast backup,
Yeah.
which is understandable. But now
The Toad Size arrives on.
Thought Size arrives. Is he gonna fetch and brainstorm, or is he just gonna let it
I
resolve?
will keep
I would just probably just let it resolve.
Yeah.
Because, I mean,
I have both brainstorm and ponder.
you don't have to play anything now. Like, especially you want to maximize the damage that you deal with the with the Monastery Swift Spear.
Yeah.
So, to be honest with you, I would have probably just played the Ponder on the previous turn. Or,
But if I am Gazini here, I will pass it out, keeping with the Snapcaster end of turn and blocking with Monastery and flashbacking a Brainstorm or a Bolt for another Menace. I wouldn't have played those sides like that. A good city side is to fetch and brainstorm in response to the top sides, seeing a land, a probe, and another land. Not good.
it does not
Sorted.
have a way to shuffle besides Ponder.
Yeah. So it's not a decent.
So, he's basically gonna draw
He's gotta put ponder on
one
top.
of those lands.
He's gonna put the ponder on top, or the probe and the ponder.
He probably just puts like the two lands back, or I mean,
He's facing the top side.
he's probably putting a land on top and a ponder on top.
I would put probe and ponder in this order. I mean, I draw probe, I do ponder.
Yeah,
See
yeah.
three
Just
cards.
keeping two lands, and
Keeping-
keeping two lands,
Two lands of
and
the- and the
the
blast.
elemental blast on
Yeah.
top. I mean, in his hand.
Yeah, obviously, because also in this way he can maximize the damages of the Sweet Spear. And
Still,
now-
I don't. Oh my god, I honestly don't get it. I mean,
know.
ponder is like your
Yeah.
best card at this time.
Yeah, also because you can shuffle now.
Exactly, because you
you
don't really
draw-
want to draw your second
I
land.
really don't understand the choice by
He probably wants to keep the red elemental blast,
yeah.
which is fair enough. Like he doesn't want to face cards like Jace. But then again, if you really want to keep your red elemental blast, then at that point you can just
and
put
red.
ponder and ponder at red elemental blast.
Yeah. Instead, he sacrificed the ponder. I don't agree at all.
What I don't understand about Gazzini's sideboard choices is basically the fact that he decides to leave in all those cheap discard spells, which are not great against an aggressive deck. Like Thoughtseize, taking 2 damages, also Gitaxian Probe and Cabal Therapy are not a great plan against a blue-red slick deck,
Yeah.
which is what Delver tries to do.
Now we probe will see the Snapcaster. And at that point, obviously the Reb against the Snapcaster is a good card.
The problem with this play is that he's basically drawing into lands that
Into
he
an
knows
Reb
already.
Knows already.
He does know that he had lands on top.
Now Gazzini is gonna draw something solid, and he's do the Snapcast. He probably plays the Snapcaster as a sorcery.
Yeah, he wants to play Snapcaster into Bolt. It's not gonna happen. It's just gonna get a red elemental blast.
Yeah, obviously, as we predicted. But anyways, I don't like the play. Even if the plan is quite worked. Now he's gonna do 1 damage, and he drew into a Pyromancer.
And
Now
yeah.
if a Gutsi will
Now
be
it does
able
make
to
more
draw
sense. Let's see.
Liliana.
Okay, just 1 turn too late.
Oh, sure.
Well, Liliana is just doing 1 for 1 for.
Obviously,
Actually,
the spear
let-
will leave us. And now a Pyromancer, if he will be able to draw a Ponder or Brainstorm, it will be lethal.
And that's why
Instead,
Liliana is so bad in this matchup. Like, for 3 manas, you're killing like a 1 mana creature.
Yeah.
It is just so bad. I
Yeah.
mean, all Gazzini sideboard decisions.
He attacks Gazzini instead of attacking Liliana. They both discard a card. And land. Now you obviously you have to attack Liliana, otherwise he sucks it before. But Agutse is getting unlucky here. He don't draw nothing.
He only has to draw like into a single spell.
Single
I think I see like a red
bolt.
spell there. Is it? Yeah, it's a lightning bolt. It's a lightning bolt.
Two bolt.
He's got. a
Yeah,
lightning
he drew.
bolt.
He drew. So he actually decided not to lightning bolt end of turn before.
Yeah.
What
But
he
yeah,
does? He
anyways-
doesn't actually like to make tokens, does it?
No. He didn't win.
Anyways, yeah, Agosti won this match. I'm not entirely satisfied with the way the match played out. Like, to be fair, like he should have easily won the match like 3-0, because like he could have won game one. He could have won game one, and he threw it away with a couple of mistakes in two occasions. Game two, Gazzini basically just gifted him with the win by not fetching for Bolt on turn one and just dying with no red mana on board, beaten down by a Delver that he could have just got rid of on turn one. So, like, I do think this matchup is in really big advantage for Blue Red
Yeah.
Delver. I don't like the way Gazzini
Played it. Naguzzi played not good, not really good the first game. The first game he missed totally the game with not playing that forked bolt
Yeah.
and losing it. But anyways, Gazzini he got unlucky in the second game because he didn't drew a second land, never drew a second land. And in this third game, probably playing the Liliana and getting rid of immediately of the monastery will be being better than playing as Snapcaster at that point of game, because you are facing Liliana, going to one token, leaving you know the hand of your opponent. You know that he's got only a probe in hand. So I mean, you put a Liliana, you put it to one, and you know that unless it updecks another monastery, your Liliana will stay and be able to fix the Delvers, fix the monasteries, fix Spirit turn after, and so.
So now we are at the end of the Swiss, so we can have some information about the standing and the top 8 and the kind of deck that we will find in top 8. So David, what do you think is the meta game of the top 8?
players.
So
Okay.
we're gonna repeat for who wasn't listening that for sure, the 8th round has just finished. So now we have.
Like soon enough, we're
soon
gonna
enough
get
you're gonna
some,
get the
some
final
informations.
and the top 8. But we know for sure that Lucas Maurer with Elves, Leonardo Zucchelli with 4-color Esper, with 4-color Blade, we are commenting.
Yeah, I
that
was just saying that his deck list is kind of funny. Like, basically, it's got like 2 Caracas, 2 Wasteland in a 4-color deck. This is the standings prior to round 8.
These are the standings prior to round 8, I repeat. We will have the final standings in a minute and obviously the top 8s. What are we saying to you? That we are for sure saying that Lucas Maurer with Elves, Leonardo Zucchelli with 4-color Blade, Pascal Wagner with Tendril
Tendrils.
combo, and Aguzzi Ivan with Blue-Red Delver, and probably
These 4 players
Jean-Marie
are 100%
Carte.
Lin.
Jean-Marie Carte, probably Alonso Zarzoso, and Dominic Hermansdorfer.
I mean,
probably
we didn't
top
actually see the pairings for the last round, but we can say that there was 3 players locked in with 6-1 and 1 draw, and 5 players on 6 and 1. The problem is there was actually 6 players on 5-1 and 1.
Yeah.
And so it comes down to tiebreakers, because obviously the tiebreakers are like 60, 58, 58, 56, 51. But the top ones with on 5-1 and 1, they've got better tiebreakers with 64, 62, 61, and
So
59.
maybe if now Salvador and that we see in the feature match, Faina, if they have won, they could be able to make to pay. I have a special guest, Angelo Cadei, that today missed for the first time a result after a series of victories. And Angelo, how do you feel today?
I don't feel so good because I find to match up where I couldn't find the win, and my opponent always try to mistake me with the shuffle effort or something else. But
So you lost against which decks?
I lost against Canadian, that normally is a very good matchup.
Angelo is playing Miracle, if you don't know.
And I lost by Infect. Infect that killed me on turn 2 in first game, and game 2 he resolves a Sylvan library. I couldn't find the answer, and so
It took
I
much
take
advantage.
yeah.
So how can you say about that tournament? Is that the metagame was similar to Ovino tournaments, or you find it different?
Very different. I didn't find so much combo. The unique combo that I find is Infect. No Show and Tell. Show and Tell seems to be disappeared.
Yeah.
And I find 4-color Cascade that is not really in the meta, or Painter that is
Yeah, I've seen some Painter too. There are, I think that more than 3 or 4 people are playing Painter, as my recognition of that list. So can Painter have some, with the Rebel Mental Blast main deck, some chances against Miracle, or is it a bad matchup?
no. I think the matchup is quite good for Miracle, but not real good. But because in main, Sword to Plowshare, Terminus, Counterbalance, there are a lot of good spell, and the most difficult part of this matchup is the side in and side out, because you don't know really what you want. You have to side in a couple of Reb, Disenchant, Conceal Judgment, and General Explosive, but it's not so easy. Try to find the real
Combination.
yeah.
Yeah, as far as we know, there's no Miracle at the moment in the top 8. Maybe if the only Miracle we know that was Anzalone, but maybe Anzalone is still winning. He can be able to do top 8. I don't know if some Miracle here, but anyways, was not a day of the day of Miracle today. Why do you think so? Because it was a random metagame and Miracle suffers a random decks?
Normally he doesn't suffer random decks because he's so
Consistent.
Yeah, consistent. And so counterbalance normally punish around on deck, and terminus punish around on deck based creature based. I think the only problem today is that infect that has so much pressure in the beginning with.
So infect, for example, if you have to choose between tendrils, storm combo, and infect, what do you choose as an opponent?
Storm.
So infect is getting for this way. Maybe infect is replacing the other combos.
Yeah, because he's more strong against the other combo.
Yes.
Infect normally wins against the other combo.
And also is easier to play, obviously. than
Yeah,
Storm.
I don't think so easy to play.
But easier than Storm, obviously.
Easier than Storm, maybe.
Yeah. Because you have to keep this protection for the creator, and you have to be aware of your because obviously if you get wrong with your strategy, you're practically pissed off because you can recover after you made.
Yep, it's not the Storm combo that fall and he find without the cards. But sometimes in fact has to fight some board that couldn't attack or
obviously is a combo passing through creatures is a combo that is less I mean storm against everything. Probably a good thing with for infect is doesn't suffer Eternal Canonist, it doesn't suffer Medley Mage too much.
It doesn't suffer the normal 8 for combo.
Yeah,
True.
it's
True. That
that is the
very
real
good.
thing with infect.
What?
The real thing with infect is doesn't suffer
the
the 8 that the combo decks have to
normal
face.
combo. Yep.
So-
And yes, the real problem is not to find the infect. Creator with infect. Sometimes they normally play 12, but is not
If you
sure.
don't have
They don't. They have to mulligan because they don't find
the creature.
creator in the first game.
Yeah.
In fact, all the problem against Miracle is if my opponent starts with the Glistener. If he doesn't start with the Glistener, he doesn't have the real speed for make me pressure.
Okay.
In fact,
Because you have a Plowshare, you have everything.
yeah, but if he has
A Glistener,
Glistener,
yeah.
he could give me turn 2.
And
And,
you can do more.
I can do a Flusterstorm or a counter spell on Invigorate,
Yeah.
but is not an answer to the combo because the pieces is on the play yet.
Obviously. Okay, Angelo. So we are quite surprised you didn't do a result today, but maybe
too.
tomorrow in the vintage.
Ah,
In the vintage tournament. Okay. So
thank you
good luck,
guys. See ya.
Angelo.
Ciao zio.
Bye.
Okay, so now I think that we need the break. And
Yeah.
just a few minutes
We
before
came
the
back
break.
in 5 minutes with top 8s, and we for sure then we'll do the coverage for the top 8s.